topic before us is two or more, choosing between and among. A frequent grammar mistake involves the use of between and among. When we write a sentence, we often get confused whether we should use the word between or among. It may happen that we use these words interchangeably. That is, we use between in place of among and we use among in place of between. But these two words have distinct applications. The meaning and the usage of these two words is different. We must understand what is the meaning of these two words, and then we should use the words accordingly as per the requirement of the sentence. First, we will understand the meaning of between. Between is typically used. Typically means generally. Between word is generally used to indicate the space, relationship, or time separating two or more objects, people, or points in time. It means that the word between is normally used when we are referring to two or more objects or people or points in time. We will understand how to use this word between in our sentences. The dog sat between the two kids. There was a contract between the landlord and the tenant. The store is open between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Though we have written here am in capital letter, we should write it in smaller case. Now, suppose I have vanilla ice cream and also a chocolate ice cream. Now, I cannot decide whether to eat vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream. So then we can write I cannot decide between vanilla and chocolate ice cream. This is New York Post, and here it is Boston, and there is a train running. There is a train connection between these two cities, New York and Boston. So here we will write the train runs between New York and Boston. So from these examples, you have understood where the word between is used. So the next point is among. What is the meaning of among? Among is used to indicate being surrounded by, included in, or part of a group of people or things. Suppose I arrange a party and there are a large number of people, and I am also one of them because I have arranged party. So I was happy to be among friends. That is, I was a part of group. of friends, or I was part of a, or I was surrounded by my friends when the party was going on. Suppose there are a large number of people which have gathered at a point. A child gets lost in the crowd. So what we will write? The child was lost among the crowd. Because the child was surrounded by a large number of people and it was not easy to trace the child. Now, some other examples. The old temple is hidden among the trees. There are large number of trees, and among the trees there is an old temple and it is not easy to locate it. There is a lot of talent among the new recruits. Recruits are a part, is treated as a group. The thief was hiding among the bushes. Here the bushes have been taken as a group, a large number of bushes. The book was hidden among other books on the shelf. Common mistakes. The prize money was, the prize money will be divided between the 5 winners. It is incorrect. Why? Because when we use the word between, it means that the prize money will be distributed between these winners properly in equal parts. Here the proper word is among, because when we are using the word among, it means among the 5 winners, the 5 winners are to be taken as a group. The prize money will be divided among the 5 winners and the 5 winners here are to be treated as a group. So when we will be distributing the prize money in the 5 winners, it may or may not be in equal parts. Among is the better choice because it gives us the possibility that the share distribution of prize money among the 5 winners may not be perfectly equal. When we use between, it means that the distribution will be equal. But when we use the word among, it means the distribution may not be equal. Further, the 5 winners are to be taken as a group. The winners are not named or separate individuals. The winners are taken as a whole, as a unit. Next is the secret was shared among Alice, Bob, and Charlie. Here there are 3 persons: Alice, Bob, and Charlie. These are distinct individuals, separate individuals. So we cannot take it them as a group. So here it is incorrect. Here we will use the word between, Alice. It is wrong that the word between is used only for 2 persons and among is used for more than 2 persons. Between can be used to refer to more than 2 persons when there is distinct identification, or when the persons can be separately, individually identified. Here the persons can be individually identified: Alice, Bob, and Charlie. So here we will use the word between. Next is she was happy to be between friends. Here the friends are to be taken as a group. So when we are talking about the group, we will use the word among. So here she was happy to be among friends. Now there are we will do some practice questions in which we will do fill in the blanks. She had decided, she had to decide dash staying home and going out with friends. Here, she had to decide between. She has two options, staying home or going out. So here we are using between. He felt lost. Dash the crowd. Crowd is to be taken as a group of people. So here we will use among. There is a noticeable difference. Two colors. Two colors can be individually separated. One color may be red or other may be blue. So easily identifiable color. So here we will use between. The garden is hidden. The garden is hidden. Dash the trees. There are large number of trees and garden is hidden. Among, because there are large number of trees. The trees are to be taken as a group of trees or large number of trees. The rivalry dash the teams is intense. There are two teams A and B. Though here we are using the word between, the rivalry between the teams. The forest is located dash the mountain. There are large number of mountains and the forest is located among them. They had a discussion dash themselves to resolve the issue. Themselves are to be is to be treated as group. So here we will use among. The teacher distributed the material dash the students among the students because the students are to be treated as a large number of students or group of students. There is a strong sense of community dash the residents, that the residents are of a locality or a community are residing very peacefully. So here among group of residents. She split her time dash work, family and hobbies. That is, she is devoting her time for work, family and hobbies for three different activities. And these activities, work, family and hobbies can be separated from one another, can be easily identifiable, separated from one another. Individual like items or activities are there, individual items. So here we will use between. When a building was located among the trees, so we were not in a position to easily identify the trees, which trees there, how many trees are there. When a child was lost among the crowd, we were not in a position to easily identify the child. But here we can split the time, we can easily differentiate between work, family and hobbies. How much time has been given to each, how much time given has been devoted towards work, towards family and towards hobbies, hobbies such as gardening, swimming, anything. Summary: use between when talking about distinct individual entities, separate items. When we can easily separate individual items, then we are to use between. And when we are referring to entities as part of a collective group, such as students, trees, mountains, so then we are to use among. So by understanding the difference between these two words, between and among, we can ensure that our communication with the readers is clear and more accurate. We can convey our message to the reader more appropriately. Now go forth and choose between or among with confidence. Thanks for watching. If you like our course, please spare some time to give a star rating to our course. Now the topic before us is the great fewer versus less debate, settled once and for all. Here we will concentrate on the most common mistake with regard to the use of the words fewer or less in our sentence. Sometimes we are unable to understand whether we should use less in our sentence or the word fewer. If we understand when to use each word correctly, definitely we can improve our clarity in writing and speaking. We will now understand the difference between these two words, fewer and less. Fewer is used with countable nouns. Less is used with uncountable nouns. Countable nouns are those things which you can count individually. Uncountable nouns are those things which you cannot count individually. In case of cats, dogs, elephants, books, days, candles, you can count individually. 100 apples, 10 elephants, 10 lions, 10 books, 15 cars, you can count individually. But we cannot count milk, love, happiness, rice. Can we count rice? Can we count sugar? No. Water, electricity bills, though they can be measured with the help of various types of instruments or some appliance we can measure, but we cannot count. So in case of those items which cannot be counted, we will use the word less. The fewer indicates a smaller number of individual items. Less is concerned with smaller amount of a substance, idea or concept. Now we will understand the correct usage of fewer with the help of certain examples. Here there are two examples before us. There are less oranges in the basket or there are fewer oranges in the basket. Oranges can be counted. So where the things can be counted, we will use fewer. So here it is okay. Next is she made less mistakes on her test this time. She made fewer mistakes on her test this time. When we appear in the exam, the teacher marks, checks the our answer sheet and gives us numbers on the basis of the correctness or whatever we have written. She may also count the mistakes which we might have committed, 1 mistake, 2, 3. So mistakes can be counted. So she made fewer mistakes. Mistakes can be counted. Next examples are there are fewer cookies. Cookies can be counted. So we will use word cookies, fewer, because cookies can be counted. The class has fewer students this year. Students can be counted individually. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the word fewer is used and less is not used. Next is correct usage of less examples. There is fewer water in the bottle now or there is less water. Fewer is to be used in respect of countable nouns, that is things which can be counted, and less is to be used in respect of those which are uncountable, that is where we cannot count the things. So water cannot be counted though it can be measured. So it is an uncountable noun, water, so there is less water in the bottle now. Next is there is fewer sugar in this recipe or there is less sugar in this recipe. If we take 1 kg of sugar, can we count sugar, individual items? No, it is very difficult, next to impossible. So though sugar can be measured with the help of weight or something other bowl, but it cannot be counted. So here there is less sugar. Uncountable noun. Sugar is an uncountable noun. Happiness is uncountable. So all the things which cannot be counted, we use less. Milk is another example. There is less milk left in the fridge. Noise cannot be counted. So here we use less noise in the library. There is less noise in the library now. Special cases. It is customary to use less with distance, money, time, weight and statistical figures. That is whenever we write a sentence where some distance is mentioned, some money is mentioned, or reference to time is given, or some weight is given, or some statistical figures are there, in that case we use less and not fewer. We take examples. The store is less than 2 miles away. Here it is related with distance. We have used less and not fewer. He has less than $30 in his wallet. It is concerned with money. Here we have used less and not fewer. The meeting lasted less than 30 minutes. Here it is concerned with time. So whenever time is there in a sentence, we use less and not fewer. She lost less weight than expected. Weight is to be used with less. Statistical figures. There were less errors in this year's data compared to last year. This is a statistical figure. Though the errors can be counted, but here we will not concentrate on individual errors. Here we are to take into consideration whether the errors are more or less in comparison to last year as a whole, and not we are to count individual errors. So when we are to focusing on the overall figures, so we will use the words less. Tips and tricks to determine whether we should use fewer or less in a sentence. We should consider whether the noun in question is countable, counted, can be counted, or cannot be counted, or uncountable. If we can count the noun 1, 2, 3, use fewer. If we cannot count the noun, we should use less. Now we test our knowledge whether we have been able to understand the concept of fewer and less with so far. It took fewer than 5 minutes to complete the task, or it took less than 5 minutes to complete the task. We have already understood that with whenever there is the mention of time, we have to make use of less. So it is okay. She has fewer than $10. We have already understood, learnt that when there is mention of money, we have to make use of less. So second sentence is okay. There are less cars on the road today, or there are fewer cars on the road today. Cars are countable nouns. They can be counted 1, 2, 3, 4. So we will use fewer, countable noun. Cars are is a few countable noun. Car is a countable noun. Next, she has fewer patients than her brother. Can we count the patients? No, it is uncountable. So she has less patience than her brother. He should drink less milk. Milk is a uncountable. We cannot count milk 1, 2, 3. We cannot count. Though it can be measured, it cannot be counted. So he should drink less milk is okay. There is less traffic and less pollution. Here we are focusing on the overall amount of traffic and overall amount of pollution. So here the use of less is okay. We are not taking into consideration individual units. We are talking about the overall situation. So the use of less is okay. By making use of, by understanding where to use less and where to use fewer, you can make your writing clearer and more precise, and you can also convey your message properly. Thanks for watching. If you like our course, please spare some time to give a star rating to our course.